Hi Bruce, how are you?
I'm good.
Where were you this past week?
Oh, your old hometown, San Antonio.
Oh wow, I love it there. I miss it there.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a question from a lady in Maryland. Do you need dedicated resources to be successful on a project?
Well, as Groucho Marx would say, wouldn't hoit, but you can't always have that. If you're running a very large project, often you have people who are dedicated to your project 100% of the time, and then some people who are dedicated 50% or 30%, and other people you can pull and pick and choose when you need them. But what you need to do is make sure that the resources you have match the resources you need. And so you start with the resources you have. So during the creation of the charter, the steering committee says you can have a third of this person and 25% of that person, these two people full-time, etc. Then you get those people and you plan your project. As you plan your project, you figure out the activities that need to be done, who's on them, and what percentage of time they're on them. You could determine that by them telling you, I need to work on this for 5 hours, and this task will take 1 week. So 5 hours divided by 1 week, that's 1/8 of their time for that. But that task may be happening at the same time as another one, so that 1/8 adds to another half, and then before you know it, that resources is loaded 125% of the time during that week. So we gather all this information, plug it into some kind of a scheduling software, maybe Microsoft Project, and we can look at the resource graph and see how people are loaded. You can also set the line on the capacity line on there to be not necessarily 100%. If the person is only dedicated to your project 50% of the time, we can set their resource capacity to 50%.
Right.
And then we're looking for when those graphs go above that capacity line. Now, it's quite possible the person who's only 50% loaded on my project may be 100% loaded on Monday and Tuesday and then 0% loaded Wednesday, Thursday. That's okay. Being 50% loaded doesn't mean they work for me from 8 to 12 in the morning and then work for Fred on from 1 to 5 in the afternoon. It means that they're, over the course of the week, they're spending half the time with me and half the time with Fred.
Right.
So those things are okay. So, but the other thing we want to be concerned about is when we first look at that resource graph, that it's zoomed into the right level. Because you might look at this at the first place, it's a 2-year project, and you can see for the month of November, Cassie is 300% loaded. It's like, oh my God, I need 3 Cassies for the month of November. But this is another example where Microsoft Project isn't that great. It's really a red flag. If you zoom into that, you might find it's only 1 week in November that you're 300% loaded. Zoom in again, it's only 1 day in November that you're 300% loaded. You really need to look at this other sheet called View Resource Sheet, and it shows what hours you're working on a particular task. And then we can say, oh, that's critical path, make sure you get that done. That one's not critical path. We can move that to 2 days when there's a valley. So what we end up with is a, we had what we got, and then with the project plan, we determine what we need. Now we've got to go back to management and say, you gave me 30% of Cassie's time. Here's the project plan. We have this hard date we've got to hit. If I'm going to hit that date, I need Cassie 60% of her time. Is that okay? Or maybe it's 30% this month and then 80% and 20%, some kind of a,
right.
It depends on the month. So now we go back and ask for what we really need. And we show the impact that this has. If I don't have Cassie, this will delay the project by 3 weeks or 6 months or whatever it does, right? So it's a bit of a back and forth. But you rarely get fully dedicated resource unless you're in that projectized environment where everybody is fully loaded on your projects.
Right.
Make sense?
Okay, thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. For additional information or to sign up for a class, please click on the link.